welcome to the Citizen channel on our regular features where we have a look at the match day programmes. This is the away version, obviously not the City one, so we're going to look at away programmes today. We've got the Watford game, Watford on the 4th of December 2021. So, great cover, absolutely brilliant cover. I love it already. I do love it already. Just looking at the cover, I was quite impressed. It's got a great feel as well. Anyway, as you know, I don't want to give anything away. As you know, Leicester lead at the moment, 7.5 out of 10. So this has got to compete against that. 84 pages, only 14 pages of ads and promos that I can count in there. There's a couple where it's like images of stuff, but I didn't class it as promo or advertising as such. So only 14 pages. So that's about 17%, which is at the low end. So that's a good sign. £3.50. I said the flick through, brilliant. I mean, the feel of the paper as well. The papers, it's a great feel. It's like a paper feel. It's like a magazine feel, which is really, really good. And we'll talk about it in a minute. But there's a little, it's stapled, so you know I can put nice things nice and flat and take nice images and stuff like that. And obviously, as it's stapled, you've even got a chance, and they've done it. They took full advantage. A poster in the middle. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well. So yeah. Flick through, excellent. A lot of space. It's not crammed. Don't get me wrong. It's not sort of too wordy and crammed with typeface, etc., etc. But it just has a really nice feel to it, a really nice look. A lot of these programs are coming up with 84 pages. Seems to be the standard thing this season. Right, Christmas at the Hornet Shop. Nice advert, but it's an advert. But that's still a nice image, isn't it? I assume that's a player. I have no idea. My apologies, Hornets, if who that is. So there we go. I mean, let's have a quick look through what we spotted looking through that one. Yeah, I mean, of course, we get the manager's notes, which are fairly standard, but some of these programs do have a chairman or a CEO, and they do have both in this. You do have the chairman. He's both, though. He's the chairman and CEO, so he's the chief executive officer and the chairman. So he has a little 2-page article, as does Ranieri, and obviously part of what they chat about is just general stuff. But obviously the guy, they had an illness in the ground, didn't they, before the game before City played them. So it's just commented on that. And as far as we know, the guy's okay. I've not heard anything detrimental about it. Action replay just looks at Watford's previous game, but again, they say everything of this is well laid out and really nice to look at, of course, with stats and images of the match. Voice to the Vickers, just general news about a player and something else, just general news going on about the club, or just a couple of items, couple of articles in that. In depth, it's like the main interview, you like, the main article, checks over Imran Lutzer, who's only aged 22, and looks back at his move from Morocco, from his boyhood time there in Morocco, and obviously his early days at Watford. He's not played many games, but there's 7 pages, and it's a nice item. Seven pages, some good images, plenty of information on the player himself. There's a book review, Jerry Armstrong. I do remember that. I think he played at Watford for 2 or 3 seasons. He's got an autobiography out. So they took an excerpt from it, which I like. You know, in my little book club, I like to do that with old City books. So that's something that you don't really see much of. You do see book reviews, but to actually take a proper excerpt from the actual pages was really nice to see as well. I mean, obviously, he would have been allowed to do that, I assume, from Mr. Armstrong. Doesn't do any harm, does it? It's a bit of promotion. So, yeah, I like that. That was very good. A couple of pages of pictures from the fans, and obviously pictures of the fans, etc., with the mascot and stuff like that. And then the City pages, 8 pages altogether. Again, they say it's not overly packed, but it's just well put together. Stats on recent meetings, stuff on Pep, some great quirky stats on City as well. Let me just try and I'll just read one out to you while I'm here, because it's just quite interesting. I've got my wrong glasses on now as well, so I should have known better, really. So I'm just going to take my glasses off and read this one out. Margin of error. This was an interesting one. Just 5 facts. Man City have won the Premier League by both the largest and smallest points difference. Their 100 points in 2017-18 bettered City rivals Man United by 19 points, with the same top 2 in 2011-12 being separated by no points and 8 goals difference. So just little quirky stats like that. And the other 4, if you get the programme, are even more interesting. But I like the little quirky stats, and it was nice for them to come up and say the other 4 are better than that. So I'll say you're going to have to buy it to find out the other 4, because they're very, very good. So yeah, you got the 8 page. Then they use the Football Manager database, obviously for Football Manager, to isolate 4 of the players and give details on, which was quite interesting. A good little touch that. And of course, you get the pen pictures on all the squad players with the brief information on all of them, which is very, very good. Not just simple stats, but just a little word on them and what they did and what they've been up to, etc., etc. And the celebrate this. I think this is the 100th year at Vicarage Road, or it's coming up to the 100th year. So there's a lot of stuff going back in the 100 years. So you know me and my history, that I enjoyed that. So it starts off with looking at a 60s player called Charlie Leipzig, and obviously looking at him in the MAINE and other things, looking back. And it is what he did for Watford himself. Watford. Limited editions looks back at Watford City programmes over time. Yeah, it don't go miles, long way, but don't go back 100 years, that's for sure. But it certainly goes back to the 80s. So from the past, so there's 4 programmes featured with lineups and match reports. The Boss Files looks at Watford managers over time from history, which is good. Just a brief talk about and what they did, what they didn't do, what they got up to, what was good, what was bad. That's good. The Last Minute Club looks at last minute goals that Watford have scored in the history that have been fairly important. So that's a nice touch. And then we get to the middle page pull out, which is great. It's obviously a poster of one of the players. Can't remember the player's name now, did I? I think I wrote it up here. Let me just check for you. Yeah, so there's a poster of Adam Messina. Yeah, there's a poster of him right in the middle. And then you get like spot the differences and quiz questions, etc. Little images of mascots and stuff like that. So it's just a great little section that obviously I'm not going to pull mine out. I'm not going to wreck my copies by pulling the middle bit out, but that's great for the kids. As I say, if I was taking my kids, the grandkids, I'd buy a spare one and then they could do what they want with it, sort of thing. Yeah, On the Board looks at influences over time in the boardroom. Yeah, so obviously people have had an effect on Watford, not on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. So yeah, all these things are quite unusual and quirky, and obviously it's all linked in with the 100 years at Vicarage Road. So obviously I'm sure they do history things anyway, but that's a nice way to package it all together. The Ambassadors looked at former Watford players who are now ambassadors at the club, and of course we've got Tony Colton, of course, who's an ex-City player as well, and it talks about his time at Watford, and there's a little item towards the end of his move to City and how he had to win the City fans over. So that was a nice one. Academy News is self-explanatory with their stats and stuff, and there's an interview with an under-18 player, fixtures and stats, etc. in that one. And the women get 6 pages as well. So the 6 pages for the academy, including the guy, and they get there's 100 standard questions, and the women are asked to pick 8 numbers, and they're just random questions, not necessarily to do with football. What could be what your favourite TV programme is. So that's in there. So that's slightly different to the way they did the academy one. So that's good. That was more a question and answer of his favourite things, his favourite pair of boots and all this sort of thing. But the women's obviously just basically random questions. I assume they swap and change that a little bit over different issues of the programme, of course. Again, 6 pages on the women, which is very good. You don't usually see that much on the women and the academy teams in the programme. You just usually get a couple of pages. So that's very, very good. And a good one as well, Team Behind the Team. So that looks at the unsung heroes, if you like. For instance, in this one, it's looking at a commie chef, obviously, who's involved in the canteen, the facilities for the players and the staff. So that's a nice little question and answer with that as well. Dream Team, it's got Cathcart. Yeah, a bit dirty, wasn't he, in the game? Cathcart picks a Dream 5-a-side team, which includes Ronaldo, Scholes, and KDB. So there you are. Obviously, that's just again, not very wordy, just what it is, and brief explanations as to why and the players. Unusual pick of Scholes, but I think that's what he was sort of brought up with, and I suppose if that's one of your heroes as a kid, I suppose you're going to do that. There's 2 pages of the Watford Fantasy League, of course, with a list of the current standings, and they just pick out a family who've all got little teams entered, and they talk about what they do and how they compete, etc. with each other. So again, another nice little touch. There's then, of course, the first team stats and lineups complete the programme. So then it is very, very impressive. Say even from opening the thing, the package and getting the programme out, I was very, very impressed with the style and look of it. And as I say, it's not as busy as some of the magazines. It's not busy as some of the programmes. I mean, it reminded me a little bit of the United one. It's a similar sort of layout. That's how the United, bit, not exactly portrait, but obviously a bit wider. But honestly, there's a lot in the, it looks so very, very busy. But this is a very modern layout, very, very modern feel, very modern layout. I mean, it's more magazine-y than programming, which is good for me. I don't mind that at all. And I think they've done a really good job with this. Lots of images, a lot of space. I say it doesn't pack loads in, but there's still enough in it to keep you interested because there's not a lot of pages of adverts and stuff like that as well. So there's plenty in it. It is a really good mix of past and present as well. So, me and my history, obviously, if you're not really into history, perhaps some of it might be a little bit boring, but for me, absolutely superb. I can only mark it on what I think. I'm not marking it on what other people may think. And some of the stuff, some quirky stuff as well, as I said, that pick 100 questions and just sort of you can switch around with it. And the book club, the book thing, it's not a book club, that's my book club, isn't it? But, that was just nice to get excerpts from it rather than just someone talking about what he covers and stuff like that. So it's great. I mean, it may not have the content, it may not have the bulk of words of some of the other programmes, but as a basic read for a football fan, young and old, and especially that middle bit for the kids, it's absolutely fantastic. It just about, to be honest with you, if you had a little a tick checklist for what should be in a program, any standard program, this just about ticks all the boxes from the basic of what it looks like and what it feels like to what's inside it. It does tick all the boxes. So, and that little middle pull out for the kids section is possibly the icing on the proverbial cake, isn't it, for this one? Yeah, they may be struggling in the league, Watford, but if you add this content to the style and feel of the programme, this has to go up there as the best programme I've looked at so far this season, to be honest with you. So obviously I'm going to put it above Leicester City, who got 7.5 out of 10. So I'm going to give myself room to manoeuvre in case one comes along better than this, and so I'll give myself plenty of room to manoeuvre, but I'm going to give it a good, very, very good 8 out of 10. I am very impressed. It'll take a good programme to beat that, to be honest with you. I was very impressed with this Watford programme. Well done, guys. You say you might be struggling in the league, but you certainly know how to put some interesting stuff together in your match day programme. So there you go. They go to the top now. Top of the league, Watford. Hey, there, you don't often hear that, do you? Not, top of the league. 8 out of 10 for Watford. Leicester now move back into second spot on 7.5 out of 10, and yeah, holding everybody up at the bottom at the moment. It's probably City actually, but I don't rate ours, do I? But no, Brighton are currently bottom at 6 out of 10, but that's my standard mark anyway. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that, and as I say, certainly if you do collect programs, it's worth. I got this from the Watford shop, so they did have it at the Watford shop. So you want to check on there first before you pay too much to someone on an auction site or something like that. But this should be available from the Watford shop. They do sell all previous issues as well, so check that out. But well worth a buy, guys, if you fancy that. Well worth. It's obviously $3.50 plus postage from the Watford shop itself. Anyway, thanks for watching. What are you going to do rest of the day? Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. To meet here again on the Citizen channel. Please, if you get a chance, have a look at my film and TV channels. Well, give us some thumbs up. That'd be great. Have a look on there and check I try and inform and entertain on there as well with film reviews and TV drama reviews, information, blogs, what's out to buy, what's at the cinema, stuff like that. So if you can check that out, it'd be much appreciated. But if you're not really that bothered about that, hopefully I'll see you back on here very, very soon on the Citizen channel. Until then, that's one thing, don't I, guys? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.